Hi, today I want to talk to you about corn-based ethanol as a reliable, dependable, and long-lasting source of energy, especially in Iowa. Energy is an increasingly growing problem, not just in Iowa or America, but the whole world. The search for a solution to our energy problem is growing increasingly more important for us to find. So the question is, what is the best energy source to use? In Iowa, we tend to use corn-based ethanol as our source of energy. Iowa is known for many things: great hunting, fishing, close-knit communities, contributions to technology, and more than anything, corn. Being useful from everything from food to a key ingredient in ethanol, corn has proven its versatility as a resource. However, it is not the versatility of a material that earns it merit. Corn-based ethanol is costly to make, requires extensive time to grow, has a low return, and provides a non-recyclable byproduct, ultimately making it an inefficient product that falls short in the long run as a source of sustainable energy. This is what National Geographic had to say about corn-based ethanol.
Grow crops to make renewable fuels, like corn-based ethanol, we might be diverting resources away from our own food supply. In 2011, almost all biofuels produced and consumed worldwide were made from food crops. Manufacturers ferment starches from corn and sugars from beets and sugarcane to create ethanol. And fermented oils from soybeans and palm fruits become biodiesel. In the past decade, worldwide biofuel production has increased fivefold. Most of that biofuel was ethanol, most of that ethanol was produced in the US, and most of that was derived from corn. All this growth has diverted a large percentage of the world's corn away from other uses, putting an even greater strain on the global food supply and making countries that rely heavily on imports more vulnerable. Let's take Mexico, for example. When NAFTA eased restrictions on trade in 1994, Mexico went from importing 8% of its corn from the US to importing more than a third of it in 2012. Any change in the price of corn in the US now impacts Mexico directly. This is especially true of a staple food for millions of Mexicans, tortillas, since the cost of corn accounts for roughly 60% of their final price tag. In 2007, when the price of tortillas rose to levels that made this everyday food unaffordable for many, riots broke out, forcing the Mexican government to intervene and control prices. Situations like these may be on the rise. Today, only 4% of the world's vehicles run on biofuel, but the European Union, Brazil, and US governments are pushing to increase production. So as we race to meet the demand for renewable energy sources, the food versus fuel debate will only become more critical.
Right now, Iowa imports 98% of its energy needs. While corn-based ethanol is okay as a fuel source, we can do much better. While doing our research, we found that switchgrass seems to be the best source for energy. While corn-based ethanol has some major downsides, switchgrass has relatively few drawbacks. One of the biggest upsides is that switchgrass grows almost everywhere in the United States, whereas corn is kind of isolated to a certain region, as you can see on these maps. Some of the general benefits to switchgrass are that it is a 10-year plant, and it will keep growing back that long without needing any reseeding. In studies that have been done so far, there was a 25% profit from the frost harvesting and a 50% profit from spring harvest. Another general benefit is the cost of switchgrass. A 9% interest rate is applied to operating expenses, and the cost per acre is $75 per acre of cropland and $50 per acre of grassland. Another thing for switchgrass is that it is also easy to maintain, as no harvesting is needed during the seeding year, and you can begin harvesting the second year. Iowa also has some benefits alone if they were to switch to switchgrass. Because of the costs, there's no distinct cost because it is such a new commercial crop, but it is also cheaper in Iowa than in other states, and which leaves Iowa as one of the best considerations for switching to switchgrass. And for Iowa, the biggest factor is cost as far as switching. So as you guys can see, switchgrass has a lot of benefits compared to corn-based ethanol. And that's not saying that corn-based ethanol is necessarily bad, but switchgrass is definitely better, which is why we as a group decided that we recommend switchgrass as an energy source over corn-based ethanol.